Hey everybody, Adam Phillips here. I'm very excited today to have as my guest Stephen DeSouza, legendary screenwriter, award-winning screenwriter of so many movies we all know and love so well. And we're going to talk to him in just a second. Before we get started, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Don't miss any of our upcoming content on the Dynamite YouTube page. Stephen, how are things in Valverde? I'm a little concerned.
I'm fine and well, considering the political situation here. It's always sketchy, but Adam, as you know, when I got involved with these upcoming issues, I immersed myself in the environment I write about, and of course, with SHEENA's ongoing adventures in Valverde, I decided to come down here.
Wise move. Did you get your shots before you went?
I got all of them. I got all of them. I must say the history here is very rich. You're probably too young to remember, but I think it was 1985 that the deposed president of Valverde was living in one of the Channel Islands here, and he kidnapped some American army officer's daughter, and it was like a bloodbath. It was in the news. It was a pretty famous case. Wow. And it probably wasn't 2 or 3 years later, kind of like from frying pan to the fire, some American special forces went down there, and a whole unit was wiped out. They shouldn't have been in the country in the first place. There was like one survivor. I think the CIA was involved. It was a big cover-up. Wow. And then probably 87. Now this is probably in school books. It was an international incident.
Yeah.
Another deposed president. He's got problems. General Ramon Esperanza. He was deported. He was extradited to the U.S. for drug trafficking and almost escaped custody if it weren't for the efforts of one lone policeman.
Wow.
So there's a lot of history down here.
Yes. Now I have to ask you, there's also this legendary figure, a woman of the jungle, who you may have run into. Can you tell us about her? What is her deal?
Well, that's right. You know, it's kind of a sketchy overlap of several Venn diagrams. First of all, there's an indigenous native legend about a figure analogous to, I guess, the Mother Nature. Only if Mother Nature was all tooth and fang that they have down here, called the SHEENA Mayatana. And some people say they've laid eyes on this figure, but those are the only people who are survivors of like wildcat oil rigging and emerald mines and other incursions into the largest unexplored rainforest in South America. So it made people are imagining they're seeing things. But really the big story here is not whether or not there's anything truth to this legend, but the government claiming that there's a guerrilla army trying to overthrow the El Presidente. The Presidente, I think he's 95 years old. Nobody's laid eyes on him in 18 months. Some say his wife, who's kind of a bus and truck Evita, may really be pulling the strings. In any case, the government says there's an ongoing guerrilla revolution out in the rainforest, and this is an excuse for a lot of crackdowns. They don't affect Americans. The dollar goes very far here. You know, in the hotels and the resorts, they're all fine. You're just going to stay in the right neighborhoods.
Yeah.
But the big story here is the recent discovery after 18 years of the long-lost granddaughter of the family here that's like the biggest plutocrats in the country. This girl was thought dead as a child, and apparently survived in the rainforest, raised by a native tribe. So she's recently come back, and it's a subject of great curiosity. You're talking about somebody like if Madison the Mermaid was raised by wolves, you know. So she's kind of the cause celeb, sort of if Paris Hilton killed her own food, you know.
Now, what is your involvement? Because I've seen you've done some reportage on this character before.
That's right. This is such an interesting arena down here, Valverde. I've been covering it for quite a long time, for like over 20 years.
Wow.
But these stories about SHEENA have actually recently come to Dynamite, and which is doing a fantastic job. I feel like I'm Dr. Watson here. I'm just relating stories that are actually happening that I've heard, because I'm right here where it's happening. So I'm merely the amanuensis of the actual factual events.
Yes.
But the best interpretation of my poor attempt to capture what's going on with this interesting mythic character. Dynamite's doing a superb job. We've been in a couple of other places. This is the best home, and I'm constantly amazed at the talent that is coming to the table here.
Yeah, Jethro Morales doing a fantastic job capturing the spirit of Sheena, if you will.
Aha, was that an
Yeah.
offhanded reference? Was that an offhanded reference to my previous involvement with an Eisner character, or was that deliberate or not?
Well, maybe not.
Oh, okay. No, I actually footnote to comic book history, but it's sort of connected to my involvement in Sheena. I guess it was in 1980, I don't know, 6 or something. Paul Aratow, who actually did the original Sheena movie back in the 1980s,
Yeah.
he had arranged with Eisner to have a crack at both those characters. So Sheena got set up as a movie that it's a curiosity. I don't think it really captured the true story that is going on down here. But we did a version of the spirit as a pilot, a movie pilot for ABC TV in about 1986.
Yeah.
So anyway, I met Paul Aratow on that project, and he had a contract with Sony to produce any sequels or TV spin-offs or anything like that had been done. But that sort of concluded and ran out, and he got the control of the property back. And he came to me around, I guess, the turn of the century for your younger readers. And that's when we got to 21st Century Sheena, who is now in the good hands of Dynamite and the Dynamite creative people.
Very cool. And you'll be working with her, trailing her, if you will, for the next few months as you go through this story. The first issue's in stores May 25th, my understanding is. So you've got Jethro Morales doing the art. We're going to show some of the covers and some of the pages coming up right now from the interior of the story.
I love what Jethro was doing. I noticed that he's having a lot of fun with the panel shapes and with the gutters, which is very much in the tradition of Fiction House, where Sheena's first adventures ran from 1938 to 1953 or 54. What's interesting now is that Sheena's modern iteration, where she's in South America and has kind of a dual identity and engages with, more than big game hunters. How about like big engulfing, devouring multinational corporations? That has actually been running longer than that original Golden Age run, which is only 15 years. We already broke that record. And I intend to go on and on, I hope. We're talking about some crossovers with some of the other characters of Dynamite, which would be terrific. I could only imagine.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what that all is about. You sound like you're surrounded by wildlife there.
Oh yeah. It's pretty tropical here. It's in fact, it's beastly hot. This reminds me.
Beastly hot. Yes.
Yeah, you got to keep up with the quinine. Normally I don't day drink, but the only way to cut the taste of quinine is with gin.
Yeah, exactly. Well, sir, we appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing where you take Sheena, or where Sheena takes you, I should say.
Exactly.
And thanks very much. We'll be looking forward to seeing where we go.